that you even had to deal with me. Even though I made you cry, I wanna make it right. Just give me some time to make it right. I go the extra mile to make you smile and just to make your day. I go out of my way and I'll do whatever it takes. Baby, won't you just stay, baby?
Baby,
Won't you just stay, baby?
When I scream pussy boo,
Stay with me. Stay. Baby, won't you stay with me?
Then there's not no room, rhyme, or reason for her to take accountability. Because then I'm going to digress from that and then start concentrating on her emotional state. But I had to check myself because am I listening to hear or am I listening to be offended? Because if I'm reacting to her emotions all the time, it'll get to a point, or excuse me, let me clear that up. If we're talking about something, right, and she automatically starts crying or gets emotional midway or in the beginning of the conversation, what's going to happen is I'm going to say, well, you know what? See, every time I'm sitting up here trying to talk to you, you got to sit up there and you got to get emotional, right? Why are you always crying? So then I'm listening to be offended because I'm reacting to the emotions instead of deflecting in a positive way.
I disagree. I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
I disagree that it's listening to be deflective because you wouldn't know that you needed to be deflective if you didn't feel like you were offended by what was said.
Okay, you gotta go deeper with that.
Okay. So, in order for it to be necessary for me to deflect from what you're saying, I have to deem that there was something wrong on my part to begin with.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because if there's nothing wrong, I don't need to deflect anything because I didn't do anything.
Facts.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So when I've done something, there would not be a need to deflect if I had not already been offended. So the deflection comes after the offensiveness.
So if I react to the deflection, like I said, am I doing the same thing? Because remember what I said, at first I was reacting to the deflection, but then I said, you know what? Instead of me reacting to this deflection, when she says, you know what, I don't know, I'm just sitting here crying. I know you hate it when I cry. The minute I go, no, that's all right. I know you don't like me. I know you're not emotional, which I always hated that statement. It's not that I'm not emotional or that I'm not emotional. I do have feelings. I am alive, and my feelings can be hurt. I just don't use emotions to be the premise for how I function. So the minute I start going, no, you know what? It's cool. You and I, two different people. It removes the deflection to get back to the point of, okay, so now you gotta hear me. And then that's when, in hearing me, it went from the crying to now you being upset and you got a response after everything that I say. An immediate response. So you're not even hearing the offensiveness, or excuse me, not offensiveness, being offended is coming in the form of that type of reaction. So it's a different type of deflection because I got an immediate answer. So then we're not even talking in circles. We're not even really talking at all.
Let me ask this question.
Okay.
When she did this and you had your reaction to that, was it non-factual?
What do you mean? No.
Okay.
My reaction is non-factual?
Let me say it like this. You said once you would do that, you used to be like, well, man, here you go again. What you doing with this crying stuff? That was your reaction, right? And you said, were you listening to be offended? And my answer is the question of, in your response to that reaction she gave, were you non-factual?
No.
Or were you telling the truth?
Yeah.
Every time I bring something to your attention that you've done, instead of owning it, you revert to crying. That's not you
true.
being offended. That's you stating the fact of what happens with the experiences in which y'all have had. So no, you're not listening to be offended because you haven't heard anything. What you've seen is the same reaction every single time that there was a problem, and you recognized it to check it in immediately, and it drew or it created more emotions for her.
But in dealing with fact, if what I'm recognizing as fact, if what I'm saying is a factual statement, does my emotional content take away from the fact? And I say that as from the statement, the truth is the truth, right? But even still, it's all within presentation. You can be telling or saying something that's the absolute truth, but your presentation of it will be two different ballgames. So if what I'm saying is fact, do I have to have emotional content behind it? Because what I'm saying is fact. It's the truth. So why do I need the emotional content? That's what I had to discover for myself.
Okay, so the question I have for that is removing the emotional factor. The facts remain the same, right? Does the reaction remain the same, right? Because if it is, I tell you what you did, right, and you respond with the emotional behavior, right, and I go in a calm state, every time I bring something to your attention, you're crying. Does it stop the crying, or does the crying persist? Because if that's the case, then your emotion didn't take away from it or give to it.
So either way, it's still going to be the same ballgame.
Exactly.
But I'm telling
so it didn't make a difference. Right.
I get that. So when we say listening to be offended versus listening to hear, with the whole fact of
listening to understand.
Oh, excuse me. You're right. Listening to understand rather versus listening to be offended. If you're listening to be offended, is that the premise for not taking accountability?
Life is so hard, but you will never catch me fall. With my head held high, and here I am standing tall. Not many can survive what I've gone through. It took all my life just to know who I was made to be. This was made for me. They can't kill the soul.